to a super exciting edition of Inside Media Weekly. I'm Ryan Bonai, and the gang is all here. Kevin Bastos is here.
I am Kevin Bastos.
Hello, Kevin Bastos. Justin Pinto is here.
2 days in a row.
Woo! And the Sea Otters were here,
me.
but the Sea Otters, all of a sudden,
What?
So, apparently, this is all the same camera, because while we were in pre-production, it zoomed out to
What?
shot. So, there's nothing going
must
on
be changing
in the bay.
outfits.
The bay looks a little filthy right now, though. It's a little algae building up there. I guess
When you
it's,
say algae, do
well-
you mean garbage?
well, no, it's
Probably a mix.
it might be
Combination.
Garbage with algae on it.
some plant life out there, but the sea otters are not there. Nothing. So naturally, humongous story of the week. Facebook is releasing a dating app.
That's
so
There's a little bait and shift there, bait and switch.
before we get to the real story of the Avengers. So of course, Facebook had their big F8 conference next week. Is Google I/O, Microsoft Build. I mean, so we're gonna get all of
No
our
idea what
technology
any of
news
this
coming up. So
F8, 12.
Facebook was looking and saying, Tinder's running away with this market. We need to jump in here.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook has become more of a place where family shares pictures. I mean, it's not really a, I don't know. So
I get annoyed when there's a Facebook link and I
It's
don't
a
have
little-
Facebook and I click on it. It's like you have to sign up to see this page.
there's a little.
I'm not signing up. I don't need.
It's a little creepy to me, I think, that a place that's family-oriented, sharing, is now suddenly going to become a partial.
Well, didn't the whole
dating
thing
site.
start with like wasn't the big thing at the beginning like your status? Like, are you single? Are you married? Are you dating? That
So
was
now
like,
they're
that was like
gonna-
the big thing at the first Facebook iteration, wasn't it?
So,
They changed their status.
the original face smash that Zuckerberg created was here's two pictures, which one's better looking person.
Right.
So,
Don't remember that at all.
but
It was
that
not
was-
generally
that was in
available. It
Harvard.
was just
That was-
Yeah,
so
was that in the movie?
yes,
I don't remember that from the movie.
yes. They got in deep trouble for it.
Okay, I believe you.
So I just feel like we're gonna be looking and you go, hey, Uncle Bob, I see that you're looking
I
for.
just is not like I mean it's all this stuff with Facebook and the news and like where do they share your information and so
Facebook
on.
2018 motto: less privacy violations, more Tinder.
I mean, it doesn't seem like the time that they should be like trying to expand their business necessarily. I think
Well,
they really need to get
remember,
to just.
Facebook is more than your family.
No, I get it.
Okay,
I get it.
so
But I'm saying, but
it's not just West Virginia dating.
It's kind of
So-
evolved into mostly So anyone
It's also mostly old people.
right. Well, I get but that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's
I survey kids. I say, "What are you on Facebook for?" And a couple kids say keeping in contact with a family.
Family.
A couple kids say keeping progress of a game,
okay.
and the rest of them aren't on it.
Right.
No, it's not.
Right.
It's not the mecca that it was.
Yeah, but it is still for old people like me.
Oh, yeah.
My social network of choice.
So anyone that has a relationship status listed as single, it may be a good idea to switch it to it's complicated. Because they're going to be scraping every single person that has a single status, and now it's going to be. I don't know. I just feel like there's
Reason
some
number 27.
worlds
I'm not gonna
colliding
get
there.
Facebook.
It reminds me of a
don't need
certain eating establishment in Pittsburgh that had a couple places that we won't name any names, but they were named after Australian marsupial that tried to be a family restaurant in the daytime and a nightclub at nights. Which you don't mix.
Odd combination.
6:30 is when you leave.
I just imagine, that there was.
Marsupial.
Yeah.
We'll talk about post production.
Okay, got it.
There's not many of them.
I'm like,
They're out of business, obviously, so we can.
I have no idea. I'm lost too.
okay.
I didn't get the rundown. I didn't prepare
No.
for
There's
this
no
part of the
rundown.
show.
There was an invitation today, though, before the start of the show.
Before 2 minutes before showtime.
Oh, so Cinema Blend, top story. What the Hulk is wrong with Bruce Banner and Avengers Infinity War?
If you spoil this movie for me, Bon,
Okay, so-
I will crush you.
You haven't seen it?
No.
I have not seen it yet either, so I
Okay.
believe Pinto's the only one who's actually
I have seen it.
who has
Well,
seen it.
Did you like it? By the way, we're talking about the movie Avengers.
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah, not Age of Ultron.
Part 1,
Sorry.
Talking
but
about
not
that.
Part 1
Or just
anymore.
the Avengers. What is it?
What's it? Remember, it was going to be Part 1. But now
Okay.
it's just
Then they
Infinity
changed
War.
it to part. They got rid of the part 1.
First of all, I didn't know, is it blatantly obvious now what the second part is going to be called after seeing this movie?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I could see what title they could use that would like potentially spoil things that would happen,
Alright.
but I don't. I didn't leave thinking, oh, that's what they're going to call it.
All right.
And I thought they would put it at the end of the.
A la James Bond.
But they didn't want to spoil it, and they didn't want. They really don't want it out there at all. So that's why they was not put at the as a tag
Okay.
at the end of the credits.
And certainly for those who've not been following the past 18 Marvel films, is it 18 we're up to now?
I don't know.
yet.
10 years. It's just 10
I
years,
looked at a
right?
list ranked the top 50 Marvel films.
50.
50.
Does that count animated?
It
and-
included all the way back to the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie.
Nice.
So it
So
did
Marvel-
not include animated films. It also did not include made-for-TV movies like Man-Thing that was released only on Sci-Fi Network. But it included Howard the Duck. It included...
Was Howard the Duck in the top 50 best?
yes, it was. It was not number 50.
Okay.
Age of Ultron number 50.
It was not. No, but when you look at the list, you'd be like, all right. Like, there's a chunk of 10 movies. You're like, yeah, those movies stink.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. I believe Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer was number 50.
There was a terrible Fantastic Four movie that they filmed like
1994,
that
never
just
released.
made it to make it to keep the
Have
rights.
you watched segments of that on
I
YouTube?
have not.
It is awful.
Well, I think if they just said we need to make a movie and we got to get it done in like 8
Well,
hours,
yes.
let's go. All right,
It would be
Put
like
that costume.
It
let's
would be
go.
like Mrs. Frick's third period class making a Fantastic Four film by the
By the
weekend.
end of the period.
Well, with the technology that we have now in the studio, I think it would be better than
It
that
was
movie. Actually,
almost like they had like construction cutouts
Yeah.
of fours on their chests. It wasn't quite that
get
bad.
that. Can we get that blue paper? Put a white circle on it. Tape it to your
Four.
shirt. Go.
Minus this 2. You're off the team.
So, okay. So, those catching up, and correct me if I'm wrong. So, my understanding of what's been happening up until now, I did not see the last Thor movie, so I did not.
That I
know,
did
I'm
not
behind.
finish it myself.
Ah!
It's easy to pick up what you're
Okay.
doing.
But basically, the dilemma here is Thanos' home planet was overpopulated, and then they wiped out half the population, and things are good. And now he's going to. It's too good of a thing to keep to yourself, so he's going to share it with the rest of the universe, right?
Great move.
And he's going to wipe out half of the populations of other similarly overpopulated areas, and so he's collecting these Infinity Stones, right?
Pretty much.
To do that. Okay, and so and the Avengers, who are, well, they're not all Avengers, right? The Guardians of the Galaxy guys are not.
They're not Avengers.
No. It's Doctor Strange. I don't think
Is
he's
not
an
an
Avenger.
And they're not.
No.
Are they avenging anything? They're not. They're more
I
like,
like
they're
Spider-Man's an
defenders,
Avenger.
right?
I don't know if he's been initiated in the movie. He's been in Avenger times, I think, hasn't he?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I know he's been in Fantastic Four, but I don't think he's ever officially been an Avenger.
yeah, it gets complicated when you get into the whole.
Like your Facebook status. Or someone else's Facebook status.
Yes, I mean it does. Yeah,
Oh,
But then I get it. I see what you did there.
you're welcome.
yeah.
You're welcome.
But they're not avenging anything, right? They're just kind of
maybe.
Well-
now they're defending. They're the defenders, really.
No, the
They're not-
Defenders is another group.
I know.
But
why
yeah,
I'm
they.
confused.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure, and I'm not. I have not finished Thor Ragnarok. I started it. I was enjoying it. It was really good.
Ran out of time.
Well, I just fell asleep.
So good that I fell asleep.
Well, I mean, at some point, you're just tired.
I know.
What you were saying? I'm gonna say that Infinity War is about to start.
No, it's
You get the door.
I gotta go. But I'm pretty sure like this movie starts where Thor stopped. I'm pretty sure it's like this is where we ended Thor and this is where we started Infinity War, is what I picked up. So yeah, so it'd be very helpful to see that before you see this.
Okay.
Clues you in a little bit on what's going on in the world, the universe, I should say. Since it's
Deep,
now
crazy deep.
a lot of planets that you've never heard of and ones that you have and
So Infinity War only made a few bucks this past weekend.
Few hundred million.
250 million domestically, 630 million worldwide.
I mean it's crazy.
Out of control.
I mean, it's like, at some point, like, how do you, like, there's got to be, like, a cap. Like, there had to be, like, a cap of how much money it could make. Like, if it had sold out every showtime of every theater, every seat it was in, like, how much, like, did we make, like, 80% of the possible money it could have made? Did it make 95% of, like, what is the maximum, short of taking over every theater in the country, you know, how much money could it really make if it sold out every ticket of every showtime all weekend?
A lot.
Well, 400 million?
Well,
285
there are so many
million?
times
Like-
I've gone to a movie, and again, outside of, you know, the midnight showings or whatever, those are packed, where I'm one of 8 people in the theater, 12 people in the theater.
Yeah, I typically only go to the movies now, basically, like,
Opening day.
opening day. Like, it, you know, I went there, I saw it Thursday night, 9 o'clock.
It was packed.
It was, every seat was sold. I mean, the whole theater was sold out. So, I mean,
And 2 hours and 40 minutes. Right?
it didn't
Plus-
seem that long.
Okay.
And I feel like I left, the movie started at 9, which means preview started at 9.
I understand.
Yeah. So you have some amount of previews. It wasn't a terrible amount of previews. It really, the last couple movies I've seen have not been terrible with previews.
Well, I would expect that last time show of the night, they're like, all right, just run through here. It's the 2:15 ones. We're like, run another Coca-Cola commercial.
Yeah, so there was that. But we stayed through the whole credits, obviously, because, you know, Marvel created it. You got to stay through the credits.
Yep.
And I feel like I was leaving before midnight.
Okay.
So it couldn't have been, I mean, it wasn't like 11:22, but I feel like it was, I was expecting to leave after midnight when you take a 2-hour, 40-minute runtime and you
And the previews.
you watch the whole runtime because you're watching the credits. Normally you can,
Sure.
Yeah.
normally the previews equal the credits at a lot of time, but now I feel like credits have gotten longer than previews for a lot of the movies I've seen lately.
I think they're running about 10 minutes on the credits now.
Yeah, it's long.
And previews are usually 20. Because you got 10 minutes of commercials and 10 minutes of previews.
You know, the place I go, the theater I go to has like no commercials. Like Carmike has commercials
Carmike's
galore.
off. Well, the Phoenix, what is it? Big Phoenix Cinemas? Or
Whatever it is. Yeah, but like the place in West Mifflin, I don't know who owns it. I have no idea what theater company runs it. I have no clue. I do like the fact that it is reserved seating, so you get your tickets and you don't have to be standing in line to sit in the theater for 30 minutes while you pick your seats. So you don't get stuck in the front or the back.
there are a lot of theaters that are moving that now.
It's really nice. It's really nice to pick exactly what you want. And it's even nicer that I don't actually do it. The people I go with do it, and they just tell me. I just have to give them $14. It's awesome. We saw it in 3D. I'm not crazy about 3D usually. There's a lot going on for a 3D Avengers movie.
Yeah. With a lot
But
of-
it did not seem long at all. Like, it went by pretty fast.
Good.
It was also like, I compared it to the Battle of the Five Armies, which was not a typo for the title at all, because it literally was like a battle, the whole movie. This was like nonstop action, wall to wall, but it never felt like the Battle of the Five Armies suffered. Like, there was like, I felt like that movie could have been done in like 90 minutes. Where this did not feel like there was anything extra that they should have got rid of. They shouldn't have, you know, oh, we didn't need that. We could have made this 10 minutes faster. But
Wow. So you're talking about before the show. I just was reading us a list of movies you need to see before you die, which is funny. You're talking about 10-minute credits. I was just thinking about these old movies where there's either no credits at the end.
Oh, yeah.
or they're all
Or
at the
there's,
beginning.
or there's one, yeah, right, all at the beginning, or there's one title card and it lists the 12 crew
Everyone in
members.
it. Well, yeah, the only ones that were paid. These 12 people, and then the producer, Selznick, and that's it.
So, very happy to see here that the billionaires at Lucasfilm decided to crown the billionaires of Marvel.
Which is all the same company.
I know.
It's like,
Wings
hey,
of
I did great on
Disney.
that one. Thanks.
Congratulations, you took our number one spot as it
It just moves it from one side of the room to the other.
biggest opening weekend in history. The little handing of the lightsaber over.
It really should be Thanos' hand, I think, because he's kind of the guy, like, you know.
Well, and very early reviews made it sound like this was truly much more just a Thanos story.
It's
than
more
it was
about
in
Thanos
effect.
than anybody. I mean, it's more his movie. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's all about him, his plan, and trying to stop him.
So what the Hulk is wrong with Bruce Banner in Avengers? Did you notice something?
Yeah.
What the
Oh,
Hulk?
What?
Okay.
Well, it can't.
you
Well,
can't-
I mean, I
can't
don't know.
disclose.
I want to tell you because it kind of is part of the movie.
So my concern going into this movie, which I haven't seen yet, is that Marvel keeps going along, and I think we've kind of joked about this before that they haven't killed off a major character yet. Really, I mean, and they keep, we just keep collecting characters, collecting characters. Okay, you're right. There's a few.
Well, that technically wasn't Marvel. That was Sony.
Oh, good call.
Deep.
Good call. So, at some point they're going to have to, kill is it the golden goose? Like the golden egg? At some point, what's best for the series, story-wise, is going to be, okay, we're going to have some major character deaths. But for the longevity of Marvel, there's certain characters that are obviously beloved by the audience.
They kill them all the time. They start over all the time. I mean, how many times has, not necessarily, character been replaced? I mean, you even see the precursors of it going on in the Ant-Man whole story, where there is a history behind it, and that passes along to somebody else. And trying to think of something else. The sort of reinvention of a history or a set of history there. I mean, you're not going to be that age you're able to play Captain America or Thor or Tony Stark, Iron Man forever. But there's a lot of precursors for it in the comics, Tony Stark passes along to Rhodey, and how many times has Steve died in the comics, Steve Rogers, and pass along to somebody else for a little while, and, it's going to happen. But also a reinvention of it. I mean, they've got enough in that pantheon of back and forth, and I still look at it as soap operas for boys, where you sort of do a reset button.
Rest assured, we don't see you anymore. We were tilting down.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Wow. And look at how Mr. Bastos is wearing. No,
it's tie. We're doing a tie inspection.
Well,
Sorry.
I'd stay aware of it, but I can't see the monitor.
Great TV if you turn around and look at yourself.
And there I am. It's going to happen. These guys can't play forever. And how many times? We're on our third Spider-Man iteration in the films right now. Is that right?
Third guy to play Spider-Man?
In real major films outside of the garbage ones, the 1970s or whatever. How many other iterations do we have multiple characters? Heck, the Punisher's been around 3 times, right?
Well, yeah, it was 2 in the movies and then 1 on Netflix.
No, 4. That's 4 now. There was the
Dolph
Lundgren one.
Yeah.
There's Thomas Jane, and there was another guy who played him in the Warzone movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is the 4th one.
I thought Warzone was the same as Thomas Jane.
Mm-mm. Thomas Jane dropped out. Then he did another one. Have you watched the Dirty Laundry Punisher film? You should watch that today. It's like 12 minutes long. It is great. It was almost an amateur film. Better than the Punisher movie, which isn't saying a lot, I understand.
Well,
but
they all can't be great.
No.
They're all not going to make $250 million opening weekend.
Nope. You got some Howard the Ducks in there.
Happens.
We're just checking out this IGN interview with the Russo brothers, that, and they just actually asking the same question: how do you handle death in the MCU? No one ever really dies in comic books. It's a cliche due to the pressures of serialized storytelling and the sheer amount of stories that exist. Characters are resurrected with ease and regularity. The MCU hasn't yet killed off one of its main heroes. And Joe Russo says, "Yeah, Tony Stark in the books is ageless. You can just be redrawing him at the age of 40. We're all aging." So I was trying to find. They were mentioning even more movies. We already know that there's another phase coming, but they were talking about that. I think they have another 14, 16 movies, something planned through the next 15 years or something that they can do. They haven't announced any of them. So again, it's one of those things where I guess you've got a limitless number of people you can bring in, and as you guys have mentioned numerous times, some of the big surprise hits have been these kind of mediocre.
Yeah, like Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy make a ton of money, and
that's awesome.
I mean,
and even Iron Man itself was not
super popular,
super well known when it came out.
It was not as pop culture as it is now. It was not in the lexicon of pop culture. I mean, it wasn't.
I would say it was in the middle of the Marvel universe, but
I mean, it was important to comic book people, but
I'm just talking about the average
person.
Let me ask you this: 5 years ago or 10 years ago, before the Iron Man film, Iron Man or Black Panther. How many more Iron Man people knew than Black Panther?
Oh yeah, well there'd be a ton of Iron Man.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but you wouldn't have had the commonplace it is in pop culture now.
No.
That it was that 10 years later. That launching into that
Little
movies
kids
and
were
stuff.
not wearing Iron Man
No,
costumes
there was-
Halloween
yeah, there was-
prior to the movie. Very often, I should say.
My world is crushed.
But they had their Batman. They had their Superman.
Well, Batman and Superman are the big two. I mean,
Yeah.
they're still probably. I'd still say they're probably the two most recognizable superheroes in the world, even after all these movies, even after flop of their movies.
I don't know. Spider-Man might be in there now.
Well, it's like 3 through 10 is all Marvel. Then it's like maybe Wonder Woman sneaks in there. You know what I mean? But but Superman and Batman also have you could show a picture of Black Panther to some people, and they're still not. There's a certain population that's not going to know it, but doesn't every single person really walking the planet know who Batman
nearly,
is,
yeah.
or Superman? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're bigger than who they are.
Yeah, I mean they've become staples. Black Panther's not had a stamp yet, I don't think.
Yet.
Oh, I'm sure I'm sure they will get a stamp at some point. I mean,
As they stay this level.
Yeah.
I'm stunned at what Marvel Disney has been able to do with this, just snowballing it out of control. And 10 years ago, before Iron Man, I would have said, no way, this whole thing can replace what X-Men is doing. Because at the time, X-Men movies were...
They're pretty big.
Yeah. And I would say they're still very big, but they're second citizens now in that universe.
Oh, yeah. Well, and even after watching Iron Man and enjoying Iron Man, and even after seeing Avengers 1, if you would have told me it would make this much money going forward, you know what I mean? It's the fact that The Force Awakens made as much money as it did, I find mind-boggling that it made that much money, that it ended up beating Avatar and Titanic and so on and so forth, you know what I mean? But
I would say these kids are more in to the Marvel Cinematic Universe now than Star Wars. I think it's more of the crown jewel.
Of younger demographic?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, Avengers is going to make more money than Last Jedi made. For sure. Will it catch Force Awakens domestically? I mean...
I think it will. I think it will.
It's just going to need a lot of... It's just how many repeat views can you see?
That was going to be
That's the thing. It's how many repeat views.
Well, again, from the secondhand stuff that I've heard, it bears a review.
Well, that was going to be my question to you. Is, having seen it, is it something that you
I don't
want
think
to go see a couple more times, or are you just going to wait and buy it? And...
Yeah, I don't know, and it's just where I am. I just, I'm not going to take my kids to see it. So there goes, that's not a review for me there. Jalen probably doesn't want to see it. So there's probably not you know what I mean? I'm probably not going to see it again. I would go see it again gladly if I had time and the opportunity presented itself. I would see it again. I think it is, could you watch it, again in the theater for sure? I think you could see it twice easily and not be bored or think you shouldn't have. I just feel like Force Awakens and talking to, I realize that I'm talking to my friends who were into this and so on, but some of them went and saw it 3-4 times. You know what I mean?
But I also think there's a smaller segment of population that's into Star Wars, and the segment of the population that's into Avengers, and the people who are into Avengers are much more moviegoers than us. I mean,
yeah, I think there's a bigger population, but I would also say that I would say that the Star Wars super fan,
those are the people that go see it.
The
10
fanatic,
times.
as you were, the Star Wars. I think they are more. I would still say they are more. I don't want to say devoted, but I think they would go see it more and have more repeat views than the Avengers people. Would almost every kid, go see Avengers for sure? Would almost every kid in the high school go see Force Awakens or Last Jedi? No, you know what I mean. Like you said, it's a much more widespread. But the kids who do go see Star Wars, I think, are more likely to see it 3 times than the kids who see Avengers will see it once. And I think you get a big cross section. There's a lot of the population that does both. So I just think, will it make $1 billion here domestically? Because what's Force Awakens, $936 million or something like that? I mean, could it? I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Well, I would be surprised. I'd be surprised that any movie made that much money. I'm surprised that Force Awakens made as much money as it did.
It seemed to be a very short period of time that it made all that money.
It
Seemed
just
to blow
kept
things out of the
making-
water and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about these Avengers
Well,
franchise.
the thing is, the
stuns
thing that's
me.
going to make
The legs.
this tougher is Deadpool's in like 2 weeks, and then Solo's right after that, and you're in blockbuster time. Now, will it hang around like Black Panther did? Like there was nothing with Black Panther for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Panther was like the 4th biggest movie this weekend again. Now it made like $2 million because it was like $250 million, $2 million, $2 million, $2 million, $2 million. I mean, but Deadpool's going to eat into its
base.
review
Yeah.
Solo's going to eat into its repeat views.
I don't know.
I just think it's got a small window. I mean, I think it'll make $500 million in 3 weeks.
I'm stunned the maniacal set behind it. Like, I was stunned that in 6 days it already made more money than Justice League. 6 days.
Yeah,
Those
DC
days.
movies just get people to see it, and then you don't get any repeat views. Nobody wants to see it again.
Not
the
just
second
that,
time.
it was bad, and people didn't go see it. Even I went and saw it, and hated it. But even
Well,
I
you-
went and saw
But
it.
you're going to go see this, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. I didn't take my kids to see Justice League, and I will take them to see.
Well, just the
Avengers.
DC universe is not like kid friendly.
But I took all my kids to go see Wonder Woman. I took Sarah with me, and I was like, Madeline, you need to go see this. And when it came out, I said, listen, we all need to sit down and watch
Wonder
this. Now,
Woman
I have
is like
girls.
what it should be.
I have girls.
No, but Wonder Woman is what a superhero movie should be. It's not
Yeah.
dark. It's not like
Well,
gritty. Like they got that
It
whole
just-
dark,
they
gritty edge to
nailed-
Batman right
They
now. and stuff.
nailed the perfect spot for where that character should be. And Batman, they nailed the perfect spot for where that character should be. And I hate to say this, Ben Affleck is not killing it. He's destroying it. He's just doing nothing for it. And I don't think it's necessarily his acting. I think it's the writing.
Well, and
Yeah, they took it down a path. Like I said, they made it like dark. They did the Watchmen movie, which was obviously dark and gritty, and then they kept that motif, which
we've been going back to
that isn't like that's like a small story of like Batman sometimes, but it's like that's not what people want to go see in their superhero movies.
But even go back to the Tim Burton and Chris Nolan. I mean, there's been this dark
Yes.
grittiness over top of even though Superman was very
Yeah, but
light
they were,
in the early days.
they were.
Whereas obviously the Marvel movies have kind of
Well,
played
and
a
Kevin
little
hits it a
more.
lot when he says, "If it's good, it's good."
Sure.
It
You know,
is.
and if it's good, it's good. Like Christopher Nolan Batman was good.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Well, even for the time, those 1980, 1990 Batmans were good for the time. And
Batman Forever.
We are
I don't hate it.
out of time. By the way, I wanted to share. Ryan Reynolds shared his Deadpool's rejection letter. He tried to join the Avengers, and it says, "No,
Love
absolutely
it.
not. Go bother Professor X." No, that was from Stark Industries. I thought that was nice.
Love it.
They debuted.
I'm still more excited about Deadpool 2 than I am about the Avengers movie.
Bad Samaritan, Overboard, and Tully are this weekend.
Tully?
Who's going to take down?
None.
As you mentioned, we got 2 more weeks to wait until Deadpool 2 and then Solo. It's going to be
Solo's the week after, isn't it?
the week after it. Yep.
I just
know.
don't understand putting these
Mess.
movies so close.
It's a total mistake. I would have put them backwards. I would have pushed Deadpool back to, end of June,
Yeah, I just don't get
So
it.
we'll have to see if
Especially-
Tully can take down Avengers: Infinity War. We're getting the high sign. We gotta go.
Hey!
See you next week on Inside Media Weekly. Thanks for joining us.